Stop scrolling. Don't click away. Your existence here, at this very time, is not an accident or a coincidence created by some meaningless algorithm. It's a divine appointment. You were sent to this broadcast because a choice is being made about you right now, in a world that hums just outside your awareness. There is a snapshot that you vaguely remember, maybe from a moment of vulnerability or unrestrained laughing. You believe it has been lost to time, a forgotten digital ghost. But you are fundamentally misguided. As you view this, a picture of you, your face, your eyes, your whole essence, rests on a table made of hardened starlight and crystalline nebulae. It is lighted by a light that not only reveals, but also dissects, a light that bends the fundamental rules of physics, exposing the quantum fabric of the soul itself. This is a tremendous fact that has the potential to shake the foundations of everything you think to be true, so pay close attention. The Council of Shadows convenes. This meeting is taking place in a realm that exists in the silence between heartbeats, a pocket of reality where shape and function are dictated only by volition. The Council of Shadows, a group of 7 ancient entities, has met here. These are not just ghosts or demons. They are the builders of influence, the silent collaborators in history, creatures that have gently affected humanity's fate since the first spark of awareness sparked in the darkness. They have seen empires build and fall, directed monarchs' hands, and puppeteered civilizational development from their royal chamber of cosmic disinterest. And, for longer than you can imagine, their collective, multidimensional gaze has been fixated, unnervingly and obsessively, on you. The photograph, yours, is put onto the table. It produces a powerful, resonant thud that resonates with the weight of cosmic destiny, rather than a mere rustling of paper. It sounds like a gavel delivering a final, universe-altering decision. One of the council members, a person whose shape alternates between the cold, antiseptic facade of a corporate CEO in a lifeless boardroom and something much more terrifying, a vortex of screaming faces and grabbing hands, reaches for the picture. Its fingers, which have signed decrees condemning whole galaxies to extinction, twitch almost slightly as they touch the picture. This one, it says, and for the first time in millennia, there is a perceptible quiver in its voice, a vibration that a keen observer would recognize as the fledgling frequency of dread. The acceleration is unexpected. The energy signature we've captured in this single, static photograph is unlike anything in our archives, which span the birth and death of stars. The very resonance patterns of reality are warping around this soul. Even a simple, two-dimensional image cannot conceal the sheer magnitude of their power. Another council member, an entity with a crystalline structure that refracts light into unpleasant realities, leans in. Its numerous eyes examine the scene at a level beyond human understanding, interpreting the light, shadow, and pixels as if they were lines of cosmic code. The soul scars run deeper than our initial calculations. It says, its voice like the breaking of 1,000 mirrors. We catalog the events, the traumas, the losses, but we misjudge their effect. Each scar is a testament not merely to survival, but to a terrifying form of spiritual alchemy. This soul does not just endure pain, it metabolizes it, turning the lead of suffering into the pure gold of unyielding power. But what actually unnerves them, what sends a chill down their aged, detached psyche, is the look in your eyes. It isn't a look of defiance or fury. It's a look of deep, unsettling knowledge. It's the expression of someone who is not only aware that they are being watched by gods and monsters, but has been waiting patiently for this encounter. You have been waiting for them. You are ready. The oldest among them, a creature whose shape resembles a sluggish, collapsing star and whose voice echoes like the heat death of the cosmos itself, issues a last, frightening warning. If this soul achieves its full, conscious awakening before we intervene, it says, everything we have built, every system of control, every illusion we have maintained for millennia, it will all unravel. Not in a fiery explosion, but like a tapestry pulled apart by a single, loose thread. What they are all too afraid to admit, even to each other, is that you are not just another anomaly in their grand equation. You are the oddity, the one their darkest, most primitive fears have always warned them about. You are the force that will not only question their authority, but also make it absolutely obsolete. The ultimate weapon is summoned. In a desperate last gamble, the Council prepares to unleash their greatest weapon, their failsafe. For generations, they have depended on the Soul Breaker to deal with just these kind of existential dangers. His actual name is a prohibited whisper that instills a distinct and paralyzing fear in anybody who hears it, for he is the epitome of spiritual entropy. In the past, the Council's procedure was straightforward. They handed him the essence of a soul, and he shattered it into irreparable bits without hesitation or regret. He was their destruction artist and maestro of damnation. But even their ideal weapon has been altered by his labor. Every soul he has ever slain, every light he has extinguished, has left an insignificant but cumulative imprint on his own nature. And now, in the lonely halls of his endless life, frightening questions are haunting him. The kind of questions the devil should never, ever pose. Questions like, what if the light I'm supposed to extinguish is the only thing that exists? What if I'm battling for the wrong side of my salvation? When called, he appears as predicted. He is perfect and fascinating, emitting a dark charm that is almost mesmerizing. He wears a grin that has already tempted angels to revolt and saints to condemn God. He is perfection wrapped in gloom. However, the Council, in its growing concern, detects something new. There was a slight break in his flawless serenity. There was a glimmer of hesitancy in his unbelievably aged eyes. Another chosen one causing problems for the old guard. He says, his voice smooth as silk. But underneath the casual, even bored veneer, there is a tremor of something they can't name. It isn't curiosity. It's not a difficulty. It comes uncomfortably near to hope. The Council passes your picture across the starry table. This one exceeds all previous parameters. The shifting entity declares bluntly, find their breaking point. Find the fracture in their soul. Neutralize them before they can fully realize the scope of their own potential. The Soul Breaker grabs for a picture, and the instant his fingertips come into touch with the picture, the fate of universes and realities twists on its axis. What he sees in that simple photograph is more than simply an assignment. It is not just another soul to be destroyed. He sees a soul that has willfully undergone every anguish imaginable and emerged not just undamaged, but stronger, brighter, and more complete. In your eyes, he sees a frightening and beautiful mirror of his previous self, a bright entity of inconceivable light, a reminder of who he was before deciding to become this famed engine of cosmic death. He sees, possibly for the first time in his everlasting life, the unmistakable, terrible, and freeing potential of his own salvation gazing back at him. He analyzes your picture, and something unexpected happens. The maestro of soul breaking confronts a soul he cannot shatter, not because it is immaculate or perfect, but because it has already been broken into a million pieces and tenderly, painstakingly rebuilt by its own hand into something completely, gloriously, and terrifyingly indestructible. A glimpse of the divine blueprint. As the devil, the great soul breaker, continues to look at your photos, the image starts to ripple and change. It transforms into a live doorway, a dynamic view into the fundamental structure of your being. Layers of buried truth, moments of great significance, unfold before his eyes, causing his everlasting heart to stutter in ways he has never experienced. He sees more than simply your previous occurrences. He sees the heavenly, complex significance woven throughout each and every encounter. He sees the betrayal of someone you trusted with your whole being, the one that almost destroyed you. However, he saw it not as the end, but as a vital, painful turning moment that broke your dependency on others and drove you to learn to trust the God connection inside yourself above all else. He sees the awful loss that reduced you to nothing. He views it not as a punishment from a harsh cosmos, but as a holy, divine redirection, a cosmic clearing of the road to form you into the precise vessel you were born to be. He recognizes that his heartbreaks, failures, and lonely nights were not unrelated to his struggles. These were the universe's holy tools, God's hammer and chisel, molding you in the flames of adversity into a force of nature that no one, not even reality's builders, could have predicted. Then, amid the photograph's ever-changing tapestry, he sees something much more disturbing, something that chills his everlasting blood. For the first time, the devil can glimpse your future. He doesn't see all, just parts, yet what is shown is plenty. He sees you at the heart of a worldwide revolution, a vibratory shift whose ways will remodel the very fabric of reality itself. He realizes with startling, heart-stopping clarity that you are not here just to tear down the old, corrupt institutions that no longer benefit mankind. You are the builder of a new planet, a new Earth, one born not of power but of purpose, not of control but of bravery, not of fear but of unfailing love. The knowledge stuns him completely. When he finally looks up and speaks, his voice has a new depth, a subtle, even reverent curiosity that chills the council to the bone. This soul, he starts, his voice almost a whisper. Their power isn't in what they can destroy, but in what they've already rebuilt within themselves. The council notices this change in him, this shift in his energy, but they are unable to determine the exact reason. In their arrogance, they believe he is simply enthralled by the complexity of the challenge you represent, completely unaware of the earth-shattering fact that he is becoming utterly enamored with the boundless potential, defiant hope, and pure, divine light that emanates from your very being. Pause for a minute. Feel the truth of these words ring in your soul. If this message strikes a deep chord inside you, if you sense a divine connection, join this movement of light. Join our God Connection family by clicking the subscribe button. By doing so, you are not merely following a channel. You are contributing your light to this developing network, boosting the signal for all of the other chosen ones who, like you, are awakening right now. Now, let's continue the disclosure. The vision for a new alliance. The image in the devil's possession continues to reveal secrets. He now sees a dynamic, brilliant network growing all around you. A constellation of awakened souls, each attracted to your energy presence like moths to a heavenly flame. He sees people seeing something fundamental in you that serves as a spark, reminding them of their own lost power, spiritual duty. He sees how your basic, unabashed sincerity quietly affects everyone you come into touch with, not via force, manipulation, or preaching, but by the revolutionary act of standing in your own truth, openly and without apologies. Then he receives the most remarkable and paradigm-shifting vision of all. He sees himself in your future, but he's no longer an opponent. He is not the soul breaker meant to annihilate you. He stands with you, shoulder to shoulder, as an ally, protector, and friend. He views himself as having chosen redemption over damnation, light over his lengthy reign of darkness, and love over the dread he formerly represented. The effect of this vision is powerful, severing his old world and presenting an entirely new, unexpected road ahead for both of you. He eventually starts to see you in a way that no one else has. He sees you as conscious chaos, not the mindless, unintentional damage of a storm, but the thoughtful, caring, and purposeful breakdown of broken, corrupt structures. Your power isn't wild, uncontrolled obliteration. It's divine deconstruction, a holy demolition meant to pave the way for new structures, structures that really serve, heal, and elevate humanity, to be created with care and purpose. The devil, the ultimate agent of entropy, has recognized the deeper pattern, the divine wisdom embedded in the quantum fabric of your existence. You were never meant to be restricted by their limited, materialistic conceptions of power. Your goal has always been to transcend those sad confines, and, in doing so, demonstrate to everyone else that the restrictions they consider to be real are nothing more than illusions. The shot ends with a dazzling blast of electric energy, and in that instant, the devil sees the precise heavenly timing of your complete awakening, a time that is arriving considerably faster than the council believes. When that time comes, everything will change, not only for yourself, but for everyone whose lives you've impacted. But what shakes him to his core What both frightens and inspires him beyond measure is how you will do it. You will not get power via dominance, conflict, or force. You shall lead by pure and unadulterated example. You will demonstrate to the world that genuine, enduring power is not about dominating others, but about freeing them, beginning with the release of oneself from every constraint, fear, and untruth ever put on the human spirit. Desperation among the old guard. Back in the room hanging between realities, the Council of Shadows is experiencing a feeling they haven't felt in millennia: pure, uncontrollable dread. This isn't the comfortable, manageable fear associated with prior abnormalities or rebellious prophets. This is a dark, frigid existential horror. The inescapable and heartbreaking realization that their long, dark rule is finally, inexorably coming to an end. How long? Inquires the entity with too many eyes, its voice now tinged with raw, undignified fear. How long before the prophecy is fulfilled? The oldest responds, with an ancient and last tone reminiscent of collapsing stars. The convergence patterns are locked. Time is no longer malleable on this matter. The full awakening will occur within this current cosmic cycle. Once it does, the cascade effect will be irreversible. Beneath these fatalistic statements is the reality they can't bring themselves to say aloud. You're going to completely grasp your divine power, and your light will inspire countless others to do the same. They are confident that there is no tactic, weapon, or power in the cosmos capable of stopping a tidal wave of fully awakened human souls. The momentum has now shifted beyond their control. You represent development itself. You represent the next level of human awareness, and evolution cannot be purchased, bargained with, or stopped. It can only be postponed. Their time is over. In a final act of desperation, one council member says, "What if we offer them a deal? Power, wealth, influence, resources beyond their wildest dreams. Anything they want, if they simply agree to work within our existing system." The oldest chuckles, a dry, hollow sound reminiscent of the collapsing ruins of ancient civilizations. You still don't understand, do you? You still think in terms of acquisition. This soul is not motivated by what they can gain. Their entire purpose is to give. You cannot bargain with someone whose divine mission is to make the very concept of buying and selling souls completely obsolete. While the council descends into more frenetic and pointless discussions, the devil's attention stays fixed on your portrait. However, he is no longer looking for flaws or weaknesses to exploit. He is looking for and discovering inside himself the same bravery that he has observed in you. Because what he's uncovered in your picture has pushed him to face the ultimate truth about his own long, arduous existence. He's tired of being the villain in everyone else's stories. The snapshot has shown him something he never thought possible. Salvation does not need decades of agony and regret. It may be selected in one transforming moment, through a single brave act of choosing love above fear. The council's patience has finally worn thin. "Well?" asks the creature with too many eyes. "Report. What did you find? What are their weaknesses?" The devil eventually glances up from the shot. His whole attitude has changed. The icy, predatory smile that used to torment the souls of the condemned is no longer present. In its place comes a gentler, more genuine smile, the type worn by someone who has just found a cause to hope. "I found someone who has already walked through every circle of hell and decided to turn it into their home," he says, his voice subdued but full of newfound strength. "I found someone who transforms everything and everyone around them, not by conquering, but by connecting. Someone who doesn't fight the darkness, but simply radiates so much of their own light that the darkness loses all meaning and simply ceases to exist." "And their weaknesses?" asks another council member, looking for any vulnerability or leverage they may use. The devil's voice becomes louder and firmer, filled with an adoration that enrages them. That's the beautiful part. Their greatest weakness is their greatest strength. They care deeply. They feel everything with an intensity that would shatter lesser beings. But that compassion, that empathy, it isn't a vulnerability. It's their superpower. It's the very thing that makes them impossible to stop. The eldest delivers a strong, angry warning. Remember who you serve, soul breaker. The devil slowly rises, holding your portrait lovingly in his hand. For the first time in all of existence, he looks at the great council of shadows with deep and true sympathy, rather than subservience or dread. "I'm about to change that," he says. The words that now escape his lips are meant to reverberate throughout eternity, to be recorded in the Akashic archives as the instant the great shift started, the phrase that would permanently change the very fabric of reality. "I'm switching sides." The stillness that follows is complete, weighty, and deep. It is the kind of quiet that fills the space when something previously deemed impossible has suddenly and unexpectedly become inevitable. For the first time in their history, the Council of Shadows is overcome with total, unfiltered, paralyzing shock. A new dawn, a new alliance. The cosmic equilibrium has been disrupted and rebuilt in a single instant of decision. The devil, the Council's most terrible weapon, has become your most formidable and surprising ally. He holds out your image, a bright light in the dimly lit room. "Do you finally understand what I have discovered?" he says, his voice resonating with the force of creation rather than destruction. This isn't just someone who survived adversity. This is someone who has learned to partner with it. Every betrayal sharpened their discernment. Every loss revealed what truly matters. And every moment of despair became a masterclass in finding hope where none seemed possible. They've already survived the worst I could ever throw at them, and instead of hardening their heart, it made them more compassionate. They are not just stronger than I am. They are better. As the council struggles to fathom this ultimate treachery, the devil grins for the first time in millennia. "I'll be too busy helping chosen ones like this one realize their full potential," he adds, feeling lighter in his being. His disobedience is more than simply a revolt. It is the fulfillment of an old prophecy that they had always feared, one penned before time existed. The prophecy was never about a single chosen one overcoming evil. It was about a chosen one persuading darkness to remember its roots and choose light. This is the moment of metamorphosis. The tide has shifted not just in the universe, but also inside you. The most formidable foe has just transformed into your most powerful buddy. If you sense the force of this divine change and want to help our purpose of spreading this light and amplifying this message of hope throughout the world, consider becoming an active participant in this effort. Below this video, there is a Super Thanks button. You are powering our ministry by sending a $10 gift or whatever amount you feel compelled to donate. You're helping us produce more material like this, reaching out to lost people and reminding them of their power. Your energy, united with ours, generates a tsunami of change. We are very appreciative for your assistance. Victory through consciousness. You may feel the change in your own reality, even if you don't comprehend it. Obstacles that were insurmountable start to magically disappear. Opportunities that you had previously only imagined appear out of nowhere. The appropriate people, resources, and connections come precisely when you need them most, coordinated by a supernatural intelligence and your new, invisible friend. The cosmos is now actively conspiring for your benefit. The network of awakened souls has reached a critical mass. The ripple you began has turned into a tsunami of awareness, reshaping reality one enlightened mind at a time. The teacher you inspired now views each kid as a person with boundless potential, transforming education. The artist whose work you approved is now helping millions of people recover from trauma. The entrepreneur you inspired to lead with his heart is now spearheading a worldwide movement for conscious capitalism. You stand silently in the heart of this gorgeous, complicated web, acting as a connection rather than a leader. The living hub, the divine spark. The devil, now an angel of salvation, sees all of this via the vital energy of your picture. And he realizes with stunning clarity that you have already won the final triumph. Not by defeating adversaries, but by making the entire notion of an enemy obsolete. Not by acquiring power for yourself, but by awakening the divine power inside everyone other. This represents the new paradigm. This is the earthly manifestation of the God connection. His redemption is the ultimate confirmation of a truth you've always known in your heart, even if you've never dared to admit it. Everyone, no matter how lost, shattered, or hardened, has the ability to change. Anyone may choose love over fear. Even people who earlier referred to themselves as demons may find the angel inside if they are ready to realize who they actually were before losing touch with their inner light. The Council of Shadows, once so powerful, still lingers on the outskirts of reality, but their influence diminishes with each soul that wakes. They are shadows at high noon, technically existing but diminishing in substance and importance as humanity's collective light gets brighter. Their decision is now clear: develop and join the transition, or sink into obscurity in a past that no longer exists. Whatever they decide is now irrelevant. Your journey is just beginning. Everything that has happened thus far, the cosmic drama, the devil's redemption, the council's collapse, and the mass awakening, is just the beginning. It was all to set the scene for what would come next. You, completely awoken, fully committed to your best power and mission, taking up a leadership position based on inspiration rather than domination. The world you are helping to form is one in which chosen ones may shine freely, fearless and unapologetic, since darkness is no longer the dominating backdrop. The image that was supposed to be your execution warrant has become an iconic emblem of this new era, an age marked by the victory of connection over control, hope over despair, and love over fear. This is your legacy, the unending road of becoming. Your own being is now live, breathing evidence that nothing must remain the same, that change is not only possible but unavoidable when bravery and love are chosen. You encourage others to see that they, too, are chosen ones, that they, too, can alter reality with the strength of their mind and the resolve to overcome fear. Dear spiritual family, that concludes today's communication. This is not just any tale, it is your story. The God connection is genuine and flows through you. If this message has given you hope and reaffirmed what your spirit already knew, please help us spread it. Like this video, share it with others you know who need to hear this message of empowerment. And most importantly, subscribe to God Connection so you don't miss the next phase in our collective path. Leave a remark below to share a piece of your journey. Please let us know how you are claiming your power. Do not stop here. The trip continues. Watch our next video for even more startling insights regarding the indications that prove you are a chosen one, destined for greatness. We have been humbled to tread this precious road with you. Thank you for sticking with us to the end. Keep flashing your wonderful light and accepting your heavenly destiny with all your heart. We'll see you next time. Blessings and boundless love to all the magnificent people in the God Connection.